ladies and gentlemen, this is a big one, and I do mean it because I have been really hard at work. I've been doing a lot of chest runs, over 3,200 stockpiles I have looted, and by that I mean supply stockpile, grave offering, or ancient chest. These three types of chests, they all have a chance to give you trophy materials from them. I'm going to show you guys all the loot I have got from doing these chest runs. In order to achieve these results, I'm using 3 major loot luck trophies. All of my gear has luck on it, with pearls, bags, has got luck on it. I'm going to show you all that near the end. This video is timestamped, so please feel free to skip ahead to wherever is relevant for you. We're going to be talking about lots of stuff. We're going to be talking about how chests work. We're going to be talking specifically about the chances I've encountered on a practical level to give you guys the actual truth on what I've experienced doing this. We're going to be talking about, in conclusion, whether or not it's worth going out on a venture like this and spending the money on the loot luck trophies in the first place. So if you're someone that's simply interested in how the loot is looking after so many chests, or you're thinking of investing in major loot luck trophies, maybe you have none at all, maybe you have the money there but want to buy them and want to know, is it worth it? Well, stick around, because in this episode we're going to be going through absolutely everything that I have to show you. One thing I will say is that beyond the scope of the trophy materials themselves, this experience has been hugely helpful just for crafting. You can see I make weapon matrices and I sell them. Sometimes I also just sell the enchanted handles. But every day I try and make all of the prismatic materials that I can. And a lot of times I have to buy the raw materials in because I've been so busy doing this chest run constantly. Bang, bang, bang. Some days just I've done it like 8 times in a row. So I've had no time to farm materials. And the reason that this has helped out with my crafting is because all of the reagents, sandpaper, flux, that kind of thing, the 5 reagents, a couple of them are quite expensive to buy, and by doing these chest runs I don't have to buy any of that, so just consider that. It does help you with your crafting. So let's move on to what stuff I've been getting. So before we begin here showing you everything, I'd like to note that if you want to see the chest run, the footage of it, where to go exactly in detail, I do have a video on that. I will provide it in the description and at the end of the video. Please go and check that out if you want to see the chest run. It takes you about an hour, give or take 5 minutes, and there are approximately 62 chests in the whole chest run. So what you're going to see here is my Discord channel specifically for putting screenshots of the loot at the end of every chest run that I do. There's 62 chests, so every time you see a dash here, that represents the end of a chest run. So we're going to go through and have a little look, because not only are we going to crunch some numbers, but also there's a couple of things you might want to consider. I don't want to speculate myself, but you guys feel free to. Maybe there's some other force at work here, because other than the luck percentages themselves playing a role, you'll see already, we haven't even scrolled down, we've got 2 of these quartermaster notes in the same chest run. Maybe there is more to it than just the luck. Maybe there's a rotation. Make your own mind up. I'm not going to speak any more about that, but possibly another force going on there. So I don't know why I put this on there, powder horn. I'm not generally going to make a big deal out of those in future. You can see we're getting loaded dice very early on. This screenshot is basically a representation of this one. There's not 2 loaded dice here. When I get a loaded dice or a stacked deck, I generally take a screenshot, if I can do, of the actual loot itself. And what you'll notice is, shall we take an example here of this stacked deck drop in? Ignore that drops. When you loot one of these stockpiles, the way it works is you will always get a piece of armor, jewelry, or a weapon of a random quality, and you will also have a, let's say, 50% chance to get a crafting reagent. Here it's the aged tannin, but it could be one of the other 4 types. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. That's always going to be the case. Anything you get from the chest after that is all down to chance and your luck value as well. So as you can see, we got very lucky here on the same day. We got a loaded dice and a stack deck, and then here we got blank. That means that I did 62 chests, didn't get any trophy materials at all. Then we got a chef secret cookbook. Not so lucky there. So you can see there's a huge amount of RNG. At this point, I acquire my luck sword. So the luck sword is not something you can get anymore. I'm sorry to say, you get it from the Winter Wonderland event. You craft up the gleamite, the precious chunk of gleamite or whatever it's called. Then you can go and make the sword. I think you have to be 200 weaponsmithing. So there is a bit of barrier to entry there. But I was able to do this and get the sword, and from here on I have an extra bunch of luck from this, which is effectively equal to 2 major loot luck trophies, so well worth having. So on this run we got very lucky because we got ourselves a cursed storage chest there, sells for about 10,000 gold. Stack deck, Aeternum, Thorn and Notes there, that sells really well, by the way, like about 7 to 9k. I'm also putting the dummies up here and the fluffy stuff in just because they are trophy materials. Even though they sell for nothing, they're troll loot, I am putting them up there just for the numbers. Again, another blank, another stack deck. There we go. You see, we get very lucky on this run. That's generally the way. Sometimes you're just going to get nothing, and then you're going to pull right up. But this information here is all helping us decide, is it worth it? We're going to crunch some numbers. Now, again, you can see out of all of these runs, I've not ever seen surveyor's tools or adamantine dust, and all of a sudden, in the same day, we get 3 of those adamantine dust. Actually, not in the same day, that one's on the day after, but you get my point. 3 adamantine dust and 2 surveyor's tools, and they just show up, and I'm supposed to not be speculating on whether there's some other force at play here. I don't know. What do you guys think? So here we go. I'm just going to scroll through here slowly. 2 blank runs. Not very lucky there. But then, of course, bang, there we go. Loaded dice again. And that's selling for between 20 and 24,000 gold, roughly. So big numbers. When you pull one of those, you've made your money for the day, you know. So you can see I buy all my raw materials in. If I've had a loaded dice drop for the day, I'm happy to do that. Buy materials in for the week, not a problem. Some blank runs. Another stack deck, blank blank, tracker seal, blank blank. You see, you can get extremely unlucky here. Don't expect to get anything on your chest runs, but I tell you what, the more luck you have, you make your own luck in this world, in New World Aeternum. And there we go. So we're at the end there. We done 52 chest runs, so we're gonna crack some numbers and work out exactly what's what. I'm gonna do this over in paint for you, so I'll see you over there. So guys, let's look at some numbers. What I will say before we just begin here and before we go through this is, before I got my major loot luck trophies and my sword, and I was just running the gear with the bags, I never saw a stack deck or a loaded dice. It's not to say that it's impossible to come across one, but I never did see one. I did the chest run a whole bunch of times. That's just how it is. But as you can see, we have got some loaded dice and stack decks here. So I would say, just on that basis, personally, I do feel like it is worth doing. That's the only comparison I can really make to not having the major loot luck trophies. But just in on itself, here are the numbers. So I've done this in 2 sections here for the purpose of working out your likeliness on getting a stack deck or a loaded dice. So you can see we got 4 stack decks, 2 loaded dice. So we're looking at about a 6 in 3,200 chance, which is 1 in 533, which equates to less than a 0.2% chance to get a stack deck or loaded dice from a chest. But it's not all bad news, because although that seems low, that's actually just stack deck and loaded dice, and there's plenty of other trophy materials that do still sell really nicely on the marketplace, which is where we come over to the next piece of information soon. So 0.1875% chance. This is what I've experienced. This is not actual figures as per New World would tell anybody if they were ever going to release that information. I don't think they will. It would break the mystique of the whole idea behind this element of the game. But this is empirical. This is what I've experienced. Anyway, moving on, you see in total we have got 62 out of 3,200 chests. So I did 52 runs, so we're usually getting at least 1 trophy material per run. So there you go. We got 1 out of 52, and that equates to just under a 2% chance per stockpile of getting a trophy material, which is actually really good. That might seem low thinking about it, but if you're doing 62 chests, the chance of you getting a trophy material, if you think about it, 1 in 52, and we're doing 62 of these chests per run, you are going to get one, and maybe it is going to be a stack deck or a loaded dice. You have to keep hitting it and you will get the stack deck and the loaded dice. So you'll notice as well earlier on, I didn't actually subcategorize the legendary trophy materials versus the epic ones. I consolidated them because I did find that I was getting more legendary ones than epic ones here. So it isn't all mercurial tokens or notes on a turn and fawn or whatever. This is just, I've used these thumbnails just to represent the loot quality. But what you can take away from that is there is actually no distinction at all as far as the rarity of the legendary or the epic ones is concerned, because it doesn't make sense that the legendary ones drop more commonly. It just looks like the numbers here have gone in favour of the legendary ones. That's just how it is with RNG. I wouldn't say that they're more common. However, if we got a load more of the epic ones than the legendary ones, it would logically suggest if it was, say, 70 epic and 30 legendary, which is what you might expect from this, or something in a bigger pool size or whatever, obviously 70 is a lot, then you would come to the obvious conclusion that the epic ones, because they make the lower tier trophies, are dropping more commonly. But we can't draw that conclusion here, so I'm going to say that the game does not differentiate between legendary quality trophy materials and epic ones, and you could probably even say the same about stack deck and loaded dice. It is indeterminate whether the game differentiates between any other legendary, epic, trophy material and a loaded dice or stack deck. When you look at the numbers, how many trophy materials are there? Out of 33, it could have been any number of, I don't know, 20, 25 different ones. So if you divide these numbers by that, then you come out per trophy material with similar figures to stack deck and loaded dice. So that's purely speculation. Maybe the game does, maybe it doesn't, but make your own mind up on that one. So guys, that is the truth on this topic right here. 1 in 52 chests is going to get you a trophy material in this experiment. That is the truth. You will see other videos out there that tell you this, that tell you that, or whatever. This is actual empirical evidence here as observed in my trophy runs. Hopefully that helps you guys, and I would like to say, if you do find this information useful, please like, subscribe and leave a comment. We're going to finish up this video talking about the gear I use, because I want everybody to know exactly what gear I've been using for this, just for full transparency. So we're going to move over to that now before we draw a conclusion on whether or not I think it's worth doing this trophy run or not, or why you would do it, why you would decide not to do it. So guys, I have shown you this before, but specifically for this video, because we are going to break down exactly how much luck we are getting from this gear, we are going to show you all of the gear. So every piece of armor has luck perk on it and lucky gem. So that's a cut pristine pearl. So each piece is going to give us 2.9% plus 0.5%, which equals 3.4%. And we also have it on the jewelry, so times 8 in total. And then we also have luck on our shield, but there is no pearl there on that one. Can't be done. 2.9% again, so we're going to add that on. And then we have on our sword 2.9 plus 0.5, so 3.4. Moving on, we also have luck on all of our bags, so 2.9% luck times 3 right there. And then finally, you can see we have the 3 major loot luck trophies here. And those are going to each give us 1.5% loot luck. So in total, we got 4.5% loot luck chance from these major trophies, which you're going to see is relatively small compared to the cheaper things we can get. We're going to break down prices, we're going to break down percentages, and let's head over there now to see exactly what's going on with that and what we're doing. So here we're back in paint again. You can see I've done exactly the same kind of format as I did with working out the chances on getting trophies here. So you can see that I've expressed how much gold this is likely to cost you, as well as your luck. And what I'm running here is the 3 things at the top. So we're running the armor, the bags and the trophies. And then at the bottom, if you want to get extra, feel free to do so. I didn't do these, but you have also PvP flag and roasted monstrous turkey dinner. So let's have a look at it in detail. So for about 15,000 gold, you are going to be able to, give or take 5k here or there, build your set of armor with your luck on. So each piece is going to give you 3.4%, times that by 9 because that's our jewelry and our armor pieces. I have included the sword in here as well. If you don't have the sword, then just minus 3.4% for your own calculations here. But in total, we have 33.5% luck. So you can see that the first thing you want to do before considering anything else, before considering bags, whether they're cheap ones even or expensive ones, or your loot luck trophies, is get your armor, jewelry, weapons purchased straight away. Also here, the reason I've added 2.9% is because the shield is an item which cannot get the pearl on it, so I've had to include that as an additive. Otherwise it would have been times 10 if I could have put a pearl on it. So there, 33.5% loot luck just from the armor. And then bags here now, they're about 30,000 gold a piece here, give or take a huge amount, because depending on when you're playing, these bag prices are going to change hugely, what perks are on the bags as well. But I put in a guesstimate of about 30,000 gold per bag, which is equal to 90,000 gold roughly. Again, give or take 10, 15,000 gold even. If you go for the legendary ones, you can get blue ones much cheaper, but you're going to get less luck. In total here, the best you can get from having these 3 bags is 2.9% luck perk, as it is with the armor, times 3, so 8.7% luck. And then you can see if you add this to the armor pieces, you're going to get a total of 42.2% loot luck. So then the last thing to add is the loot luck trophies themselves. So we have 3 of them. They cost about 60,000 each, so you're looking in the region of 180,000 gold, give or take 15,000 gold roughly. So this is the last thing you should buy. Don't need to think about just the gold you're spending on this, but also whether you're prepared to put the time into doing the chest runs, whether you think it's worth doing the chest runs, whether you've got time for it, that kind of thing. These are going to be 1.5% loot luck per trophy, times 3 is 4.5%. So you can see not a lot of extra loot luck there. We are really min-maxing with this here. If you want to squeeze that little bit extra out and get the edge over other people doing chests or just improve, then this is the way to go. And as I say, before having any loot luck trophies of any kind, I would not get in any stacked decks or loaded dice. I only started getting them when I first got my minor loot luck trophies. So consider if you want to progress through minor, basic and major, if that's something you want to do. In total there, in this green box, and the reason it's got a green box around it is because this is what I run, in total 46.7% loot luck. So that is the figure you see expressed in these chest runs that I've been doing, 3,200 chests, and all of the figures based around having this amount of luck here. Now you'll notice I've also put down the PvP flagging. I haven't done it, but an extra 1% luck added on there if you do that. And if you want to buy the monstrous turkey dinner, you're going to get yourself an extra 5.4% luck from that. And you'll notice that that is actually more than the major loot luck trophies. I would definitely recommend running the monstrous turkey dinner, and you could even do that as a replacement for the major loot luck trophies. But just bear in mind that every time you do that, unless you were farming the hell out of the turkey, you got a load of them to burn, every chest run effectively is going to cost you about 400 gold, because that's how much roughly, at least on my server, the monstrous turkey dinner costs to acquire. I think that's actually well worth doing it. And I think I'm going to start doing that in future as well with my runs, and see how I get on and see if I get an increase in loot. With the PvP flagging and the monstrous turkey, we're at 53.1% loot luck. If you don't flag but you just use the turkey, you're going to be at 52.1%. So you are tipping over 50%. So without those two, we're under 50%. Just with both of those, or even just the turkey dinner, you're over 50%. Well, what does that mean? Now, it's largely open to speculation as to how the loot works, but there's kind of 2 aspects to it. What can you loot based on your luck? That is, are you locked out of getting certain items based on your luck? And the consensus is yes, until you hit certain thresholds with some things. I've heard people talk about the glyphs that drop from Brimstone Sands. You don't have access until you reach a certain amount of luck, which suggests that when you open new roles with more luck, those roles have, in at least analogous way of putting it, attached to them certain items, those added roles that you then have access to. The other aspects being, what are your chances of getting lottery items, for example? So again, this is purely speculation, but it stands to reason that if we put this in very simple terms, that when you loot a chest, you can roll between 1 and 100. With a 46.7% added loot chance, you could maybe roll between 1 and 146.7. This is very simple terms, and those extra rolls that are added on there are of higher quality. They are populated with more high quality items. So that's to say, in the added 46.7 rolls that you get, stacked deck, loaded dice and other trophy materials are going to be represented more in those added rolls that you get, and the further down the slider to the right, if you like, of the higher rolls you get, the more items there are going to be. I will note that when you get a trophy material drop, you get no more items. That suggests that if there is a repetitive rolling process where when you get a blank roll and you can't get any more in that chest there, the trophy materials are also treated as a blank space as well, and you cannot get any more trophy items. When you hit a trophy items, bang, you're done. Your loot for that chest is then loaded and expressed in order, just with the trophy item at the top. So again, guys, just before I leave you and give my conclusion on this, please like, subscribe and leave a comment if you found this useful. So is it worth it? All I will say is I've given you guys all the information you need based on my chest runs, and this is mine. It's empirical evidence here. It's not the actual figures from New World devs. Obviously, this is a working model. It's the closest you're going to get to the truth that I can provide you here. I think it is well worth it. Absolutely, I've made so much gold from this. I have got in the kitty right now 170,000, which may not seem a lot, but I have been spending money, a lot of money. I've been upgrading my Burninator, my Aconite, other artifacts. They cost 10,000 gold a time to upgrade these items. I've been making a lot of materials each day. I've been upgrading my bruiser gear, and I have so far got 3 of these pieces upgraded. They're in the region of both of the weapons are worth 160,000 gold each. The ring here, maybe about 120,000, I'm not sure, but a lot of money spent on that as well. So I've definitely, just from doing these chest runs, earned well over half the gold cap in the time it's taken me to do all of these 3,200. It's probably been a couple of weeks, to be honest with you. I've been doing other stuff as well, though. It is definitely worth doing it in my eyes, as long as you're going to treat this as a profession. That's to say that you're not going around chopping trees, you're not going around skinning animals, because the money you make from your chest runs is going to supplement all of that and allow you to buy in all of those materials if you want to do your crafting. You should do your crafting, absolutely 100%. It's the first thing you should do every day, is craft up your prismatic ingots, leather and all that other stuff. Absolutely 100%. And again, I won't stress this anymore, when you do these chest runs, you'll get a load of priming reagents as well, like the flux and the sandpaper. These are extremely expensive, so if you can avoid having to buy these, then you are really quids in with your crafting. So consider that with whether you want to do this or not, because you're going to need those crafting materials one way or another if you want to make the matrices, if you want to make your own Gorgonite armor, or you just want to sell the stuff straight up on the marketplace and make extra money. So all in, absolutely 100% do recommend doing this if you are sweaty and want to get on doing just chests and enjoy doing it. If you're a bit like me, and when you open a chest you're like, is it going to be that one? Is it what we're going to get from this chest? If you're like me, then you're going to definitely want to do this. But if you don't enjoy doing chests and you'd rather do something else, well, there are lots of other things you can do. Go and grind dungeons. You can even farm gems, like pristine gems, through doing mining and make great money that way with gem dust and stuff. So there are other things you can do. It's not for everybody, but hopefully you guys ultimately can make up your own minds and decide whether this is something you want to do. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe and leave a comment. I will see you guys next time.
Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment.